Yo, what is up, guys? Randall here with Crypto Love. Today making an episode at work on break, so I just wanted to get this episode out there because otherwise you're not going to get it till like 10 o'clock tonight. So this way you can have it early. But today we were doing an episode on ChainLink, and I'm going to get into that. But before I do, I just wanted to say thanks to everyone who's been watching, everyone who's been subscribing, commenting, giving thumbs up, thumbs down, whatever. It's awesome to have an active community. I love it, having a fun time with you guys here. So let's get into it. ChainLink. All right, now ChainLink just recently finished their token sale, and they sold 350 million Link tokens for $32 million. So they were like 10 cents per Link. Now, they're basically solving a pretty important problem on the blockchain. So Ethereum's all about smart contracts, and smart contracts are basically these contracts where both parties are bound, it can't be altered, and then it doesn't need the input of really anyone else to decide what happens with the contract. So what's happening right now is we have these smart contracts, but there's a whole bunch of outside resources that we can't really tap yet. And that's the goal of ChainLink. So if you take a look here, we have the smart contracts here on the blockchain, but then we have retail payments, bank payments, events and data, and market data that we really just can't get. Hence comes ChainLink. That's the reason for them. So they're going to bridge the chain between those two. And that's nice because that way we can have a secure, trustable solution to get this information, so then we can have those factors put into the smart contracts, and that way it'll just make smart contracts a lot more usable. So some use cases they talk about in the white paper are things like insurance claims. So like, was the door locked, was the garage closed, so that the Internet of Things type technology out there. Also in terms of financial data, securities, things like that. So that's great because this will be able to incorporate all of that stuff into the smart contracts. So in terms of other things that they have, there's also bank payments, there's back-end systems, but basically it's just incorporating everything outside of the blockchain into the blockchain. And how they're doing this is they're actually the people who own those APIs, who own that information, so that would be all these people like Visa, PayPal, the banks, Bloomberg, they actually get Link tokens for supplying this data. And that's kind of how they're monetized in terms of doing it. So there is a financial incentive for them to get into it. Now, how much? We'll take a look in a little bit. In terms of what they have going on here, so they have the team, which seems kind of small because right now for the team, all they have listed here are these two guys, Sergey Nazarov and Steve Ellis. They have a bunch of advisors, and the advisors seem really good, but for the team they just have these two guys. Now at first I was somewhat underwhelmed with the team, but I did a bit more research about this Sergey Nazarov, and he's been working in smart contracts since like sometime between 2011 to 2014. So he's been into smart contracts for quite a while. He was previously in the Secure Asset Exchange, and now he's putting all of his energy, his effort into ChainLink. And then in terms of advisors, they have some pretty good advisors like this dude Evan Cheng, who does everything, who generates the low-level machine code that runs every Apple device. They have Hudson Jameson, who's on the Ethereum community manager. And the token sale, so their token sale was divided up into three parts. There's going to be 1 billion overall tokens. A third of those were sold in the token sale, which is already complete. A third of them are going to go to the node operators to incentivize the system. So that's the people who are going to be providing the information to the smart contracts. All right, and then a third of them is going to be used for the team for continued development, things like that. Token sale is done. And in terms of news, there were some news articles. So one of the big things that they have back in 2017, so Swift completes a blockchain smart contract trial. So they were working with ChainLink, who at this time was under a different name, Smart Contract, and they were working with them to basically link all of those things up with the blockchain. And it was successful. Now, when I took a look at this, I'm like, Swift, Cbos, oh, Ripple. So this is going to be something that is going to be possibly in direct competition with Ripple. Now, Ripple is posed for some news coming up in October, the Swell conference about potentially South Korea, who knows. But this poses ChainLink as potentially a direct competitor for Ripple. So we'll have to see how that turns out. Now, some other things I took a look at. The white paper here, I tried to read the white paper. The white paper is very technical, very intense, to be honest, a bit over my head. But there are some important things that I gleaned from the white paper. One of them I just highlighted right here. So what differentiates ChainLink from other Oracle solutions, and the Oracle solutions are the things that help bridge the gap, so they're kind of the middlemen. They bridge the gap of the smart contracts and the outside information. And so what differentiates ChainLink from other Oracle solutions is its ability to operate as a fully decentralized network. So instead of having a centralized Oracle, this is aimed to be decentralized. That helps with trust, with security, and helps prevent people from kind of manipulating events, manipulating those smart contracts. Now, if we take a look at ChainLink itself, right now it's trading at 38 cents, and it's seen quite a jump recently. So up until the end of September, it was at 19 cents. Then I think my man over at Crypto Daily mentioned it in one of his videos, and boom, saw an immediate jump. He's getting, 10, 20,000 views per video. So it saw quite a jump, all the way up to a high of about 43 cents. Now it's back down to 38 cents. In terms of what it could do, right now it has $130 million market cap. Now, if this is a solution that is adopted fully with smart contracts, you got to think that this is going to be something around the valuation potentially close to Ethereum, because Ethereum is working with smart contracts. This is going to be integrating smart contracts with all these other outside resources. I'm not saying this is going to be as valuable as Ethereum, but potentially $1 billion market cap. That would make this each ChainLink worth about $3 and change. So it could go up for a $10 increase. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not telling you what to do with your money, but it's worth looking into. The other thing I took a look at, so this 4chan, they posted something about ChainLink, and apparently they own more than 10% of the circulating supply of ChainLink. So that means that they own about 30 million ChainLink. That gives them the ability to kind of alter the value of it quite a bit, and they say that as long as they hold it, most of us will become millionaires in less than 2 years. Pretty interesting. Now, I don't know whether to take this as something, as like divine providence, like maybe they're right, maybe they're wrong, maybe they're just making this stuff up. I don't exactly know. But taking a look at stuff that 4chan has done previously with blockchain, so not too long ago, they did essentially knock $4 billion off the value of Ethereum overnight. And how they did this was they posted something that Vitalik Buterin died, and Ethereum saw a pretty quick crash just on that news alone. So potentially that's powerful, potentially that's something. I mean, who knows, maybe it is something where they're going to affect the price, but then that gives me less confidence in ChainLink itself. And also, I mean, this is just kind of one of those whales just pumping and dumping. So my overall feeling of ChainLink, they have a really good idea. They're solving a good problem. They have a somewhat strong team. I think there's a bit too few people, but a somewhat strong team. And in terms of a usable token, yeah, they're rewarding people for that Oracle data, and they're using the token there. So I think all of those things are going. I also think it's somewhat early on in the project. Now, this is something where you could buy, potentially make tenfold your money. I don't know exactly the timeline for that, but that's definitely a potential thing. Also, if you buy a lot more, maybe if 4chan is correct, you could be a millionaire just from ChainLink alone. I mean, it is something that if this technology is adopted worldwide, and ChainLink is the premier Oracle solution, decentralized Oracle solution, it could be very worthwhile for you. So I just want to get this video out there for you on ChainLink. There's not too much other information out there. Let me know what you think about ChainLink. Do you think it's something worthwhile investing in? Do you think this price of 40 cents where it's at right now is a little bit high, or do you think it'll keep going up? I look forward to hearing from you. If you guys like what you watch, please click the subscribe button, and I will catch you later.